Okay, so in the next part here, we are working with files. So you are to assume that none of these files actually exist before the program has been run, right? What will print out after the program runs. So we are both going to create and open files on these exercises. So the first one here, we are opening a file called file1.txt, and we're opening it in write mode. So when you open in write mode, that's what this W here is for. Whether or not the file existed before you opened it, you are going to be overwriting it, so nothing will be left from what was there before, even if there was something there before. Okay, and then we're writing to this file the string hello and then the string world. And the important thing to understand is that what's going to be in this file after this point is there's not going to be any line breaks, so it's just going to be hello world, like stuck together like that. There won't be any line breaks unless you specifically write a line break to the file, like for example with \n for the line break character. Okay, and then we close the file, and now down here, we're calling this G, but we are opening the exact same file, and we're opening it in write mode, so we're overwriting it. So nothing from up here is going to be left. That's going to be gone. And after these two write commands, the file is just going to contain hi mom, like that, with no space or break between them. And then we're closing the file. Okay, and now down here, we're opening the exact same file, and now we are opening it in read mode, which means we're not going to write anything to it, we're just going to read it. And this .read command, that's just going to pull in the entire contents of the file in one string. So S is going to be the string hi mom, that's it. And then we're just printing that out. So what's going to print is just going to be this one line, hi mom. That's what it's going to look like. Okay, so if we go ahead and run that, you guys can see that is exactly what we get. And if you would actually look at the file over here on the side, you guys can see that's what's in the file is just that text. Okay, so the next one, we have another file called file2.txt. We're opening it in write mode, and then we're writing these two lines. So this is the same as before. It's just going to contain hello world, and then we're closing it. And now be careful here because the next time we open it, we're opening it in append mode. So that means when you open in append mode, you're adding things. If you want to write anything, it's getting added on to the end of the file. So what's there from before will still be there. And then when you write more things, it'll be added to the end. So after this line here, it's going to be hello world hi. So there's still no spaces or breaks because we didn't put any in these write commands. And then after this line, it's going to be hello world hi mom. So these keep getting added to the end. Then we're closing the file. And now down here, we're calling it H, but this is still the same file that we're opening. And now we're opening it in read mode. We're reading in everything, and we're printing that. So it's just going to print hello world hi mom. Like that. Okay. And you can see, again, if we open file 2 over here, that's all that's in the file. Okay. The next one, the last one. So in this one, we finally have some actual lines to work with. It's not just one line. So we have a string here, S. When you put 3 quotes around the string, you are allowed to put line breaks in it like this. You actually type them into it. And we are opening file 3.txt, and we are writing that string S to the file, and then we're closing the file. Okay, so this string up here is what's getting written into the file. So these lines, if we would open the file, are what would be inside the file. And then we are closing the file, and then we're opening it again under the name G in read mode, so not in write mode. And then we are doing lines equals G.readLines. So what's going to happen when we do this is lines is going to be a list of the lines that are in the file. So the first one is going to be Ann 99, 84, 92. That's going to be one entry in the list. And then the next entry in the list will be the next line. So it'll be like this. And then the third entry will be the third line. And then weirdly enough, there's also this extra little annoying thing where the end of each line has a line break character, and that gets read in as well when you do read lines. I don't know why Python does that, but they will all have their own line break character at the end like that. So that's what lines is going to be when you do g.readLines. And then down here in this loop, we are looping through lines, and we're looking at each line in lines one at a time. So the first value of line is going to be the first entry of lines, so it's going to be this. Okay, so that's the first value for line. And then we are doing line.split, and we're splitting at the comma. So that's going to turn this string here, line, into a list of the substrings that were between the commas. Okay, so it's going to be an 99, 84, and then 92 line break. So data for the first run of this loop is going to be an 99, 84, and then 92 line break, like that. That's what the split command does. Okay, and then we're just printing out the first entry in data. So that entry is going to be, for the first time the loop runs, it's literally just this first entry right here, and. Okay, so things that print for your answer down here, the first one is just going to be and. And then it's basically just going to go the same way for all of the lines. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to get Bob, the next one, we're going to get Cat, and so on. Okay, because it's just the 0 index every time, and then line is just going to go to the next string here, and then the next string here. All right, so we get Anne, Bob, and Cat. And if we run this, you guys can see is what we get, and contents of file 3 are these 3 lines. Okay, so that's it for this part of the video.